gon' call me Jiggy when I'm home, they call me Snowman here. We ain't never home, but treat the city like the base, yeah. You know where to look if you're looking for the wave, yeah. Looking for the...
Welcome to the EuroSteppin Podcast, where we bring the real deal with European basketball. Hear from players about how they live as international basketball players. I'm your host, Big Dave, along with my co-host,
Al Snow.
Snowman, man. How you doing, man? How's things going?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm really excited about this guest we got today, man. Let's get this thing cracking.
Oh, man, the guest we got today, man, he's known for being a high flyer. You know, he has a lot of accolades during his career. He's a Euro Challenge champion. He's a BSL champion. He's a Croatian League champion. He's a BSL Slam Dunk Contest champion. NBA D-League All-Star, and All NBA second team. All NBA D-League second team. He's a PBL All-Star, 3-time Italian League All-Star game. Italian League top scorer. And as he was coming out, he was a parade second team All-American.
Right.
Let's give it up to James Flight White.
What's up? What's going on with y'all?
Man, we just appreciate, man, that you're giving us the time where we're able to chop it up and talk to you and, you know, pick your brain about how your European experiences was, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me, man. Appreciate that.
James, I got a question before we even get into any of that. I got to get to this. Listen, so you grew up, man. I mean, not grew up, but you kind of are a legend for just being able to just straight fly, right?
Yes, sir.
So I told Big Dave I was going to ask you this question before we ever jumped on, so I'm just going to say this out the gate. Tell me this. Your whole life you've been running around probably winning every dunk contest you ever been in, right?
Yeah.
And I know it had to be a dream for you to get to the NBA and get your shot to win the NBA dunk contest, right?
Right.
You get there, and it goes a little left.
For sure.
Talk to me, man. Tell me what happened, man. Were you nervous? Were you excited?
Nah, man. It's not it. The dunk contest wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. It's not like a normal thing, you know what I'm saying? Normally I just go out there, like I really don't be practicing dunks, you know what I'm saying, and none of that stuff. I just go out there and do my thing. Right. But it's more of an event. It's not like the normal thing. Normally you just go out there, you do your dunks, next dude go, man, it wasn't no warm up. Keep in mind, I'm the oldest dude in the dunk contest. I'm 30 at this point. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I need a little warm up and stuff like that. Ain't no warm up, nothing. And we sitting there, you know, we do a little layup line, but then they got a whole event, 2 Chainz rapping, they introducing people, all this type shit. And then we just go out there and dunk. Then on top of that, they changed the rules, so you only get 2 dunks. So you get 2 dunks. And if whoever the top dude is on that side, you advance. So you only get 2 dunks. So my first dunk, I did the little free throw line joint. My plan was to do all free throw lines. So the first,
not to cut you off, but you have won. When you say that, I want to make sure our listeners know you have already won multiple dunk contests. I think you won the dunk contest in Turkey, and I want to say
he won it in Turkey. I was in Turkey when he won that.
Turkey, I won a bunch. Like you gotta keep in mind, a lot of the dunk contests I'm in, depending on what's on the line, it determines how bad I really want to win. If it's money on the line, I'm going all out. I'm going to try to like make the dunks. I'm doing, you know, I'm trying to win.
Right.
If it's just like something where it's like on TV or something, I'm trying to do stuff where like people like you see some spectacular shit. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter if I make the dunk or not. I just want you to see that. Like in the college one, I wasn't really I didn't care about winning. I was just trying to show people that, you know, what I could do. So I wasn't really I was just trying to do some spectacular shit. So going back to the NBA one, so the first dunk I do the 2-hand joint from the free throw line, which I think I should have got a 50. They give me a 47. So after that changed up my whole game plan. So now I got to do something super spectacular in advance.
Yeah.
So they gave us brand new basketballs. So the first dunk I did, I missed the first one because the ball slipped out my hand because it was brand new. So I switched to the NBA 3-point contest. They got a ball, like it's not a real NBA ball. It's like the bonus ball, whatever. So I used that one for my dunk. So my second dunk, I go back through my free throw line dunk. I'm gonna jump from the right elbow, and switch to the left side from the free throw, right? So I go to the right. I'm going to the right side of the court to run. I don't really need to run that far, but it's just like for the optics. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's all part of the show. So I go back there. I go to run to do my dunk. So I'm going. I start dribbling, do my little shit. I dribble the ball. I'm running the ball back there. There's no air in the ball. It's not a regular ball. So I'm like, oh shit. So I had to go run back, right? So I go back again. I'm trying to dribble the ball, but the ball is not bouncing, so it's messing up my steps. So every time I'm doing it, I really don't have my steps down. So I'm going, I keep missing. So I'm trying to do something crazy. My second one, that's why I kept missing the dunks. I'm trying to do something crazy. After that, it was a wrap. But I was disappointed because I should have took it more serious. You know what I'm saying? I should have had like a real plan. But you know what I'm saying? It would have been a wrap if I was in there like my rookie year or something like that. It would have been crazy.
But just to let you know, what you describing ain't normal shit.
No. and you know what's crazy? Because people be giving me, I'll be on Twitter and shit. People always be talking shit about that. Like, oh, you, and I'd be like, dog, you act like I was trying to do some old normal dunks. Like I was trying to do some spectacular shit I was missing. Y'all act like I was trying to do something regular. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey, my man didn't say he was going to jump from the free throw line. He said he was going to jump from his elbow.
Yeah.
That's a couple more feet.
Yes, sir.
So let's jump into where it all started, man. You originally, actually let's talk a little bit about college before we get into your pro career. You started off at one spot. Ended up we don't really know where that came from or what that's about. Can you talk to us a little bit about that transfer, that whole process?
Well, I was at the University of Florida, and the reason I even went to Florida is because I thought they kind of fit how I played at the time. You know, at the time I was an athlete, running, jump, all that type of stuff, up and down. And at the time they used to press. If you remember Florida, when they went to the Final Four, they was known for pressing with Billy Donovan, like Rick Pitino style.
Was that the championship teams?
Nah. The year before I got there, they went to the Final Four. Mike Miller, Don Haslam, all them dudes. Yeah. So actually, they went to the championship actually, and they lost to Michigan State, I believe. So I went there. It was me, David Lee, and Kwame Brown. We had the #1 class coming out. But then Kwame decided to go to the league. So when I went there, my first year, you know what I'm saying, it was cool, but they wasn't playing like I thought they was gonna play. You know what I'm saying? And it was me and Dave was coming off the bench, probably averaging like 15, 20 minutes a game. We both was coming off the bench. We talking about 2 All-Americans coming up. We had a squad, though.
The top 2 high school players coming out.
We wasn't the top in our class, but we was both Mickey D's. We was both Mickey D's. So, we both highly told the guys. We had a squad, though. We had Brett Nelson. I don't know if you remember him. He was a McDonald's All-American. We had Orion Green, who went to the NBA.
I know Orion from Houston.
Yeah. Matt Bonner, NBA guy. Udonis Haslam, NBA guy. We had a squad. We was like number 2 in the country at one point. So I'm a freshman coming in playing. So the next year, I come in. I'm like, all right, this my time to do my thing. But I got hurt in the preseason. They brought in Matt Walsh and they brought in this dude named Christian Dreyer, who's an overseas dude, good player. Real skill. They was really high on him. You know what I'm saying? They both played my position. So I'm hurt in the preseason. The preseason about to start. Actually, they already played the preseason game. Matt Walsh had 30 his first game in the preseason, right? So I'm hurt. I come back my first practice, killed. And in Florida, they got the thing where they hold the stats. They keep every stat. I probably had the best practice in Florida history, ever in history. killing, going crazy, right? Because I'm like, these dudes ain't taking my spot. Killing. Right. I'm down there shooting free throws, right? Billy Donovan come to me and say, hey, James, great practice, man. It's awesome practice, but to let you know, you starting from, you the 15th man, you the last man now, and you got to work your way back. Ooh. Now, I'm not mad at that, but you got to understand, he said I'm behind the walk-ons. These ain't no regular walk-ons. These ain't like good walk-ons. These are like managers. Like, they just basically like people who set screen and practice and stuff. He's saying that. I'm like, I know, I see what's about to happen right here. And we had a dude on our team the year before, named Darius Halton. In high school, one of the best players, like second lead scorer in Florida history. Same things happened to him. He one of them dudes that was great and then just got slowly, his career just went down and down and down where he ain't nothing. I seen it happening. So I was like, man, I got to get out of here. So I talked to him. I was like, I'm thinking about transferring. He was like, all right. Like, he ain't care. So I was like, I called my pops like, yo, we got to get out of here. Plus, honestly, the whole culture didn't fit me anyway. It just didn't fit me. The type of person I was, the attitude I had, like the way they played, everything just didn't fit me. So I decided to transfer and go to Cincinnati.
Worked out pretty well.
Worked out great.
Yeah. I want to get into a little, man. I know you got drafted to the Spurs.
Yeah.
Before we get into that year the Spurs won the championship.
You
get a ring for that championship?
Yeah, I did. I mean, this is this right here is like when you get a ring, you can get a ring, another ring like for your family, or like this right here. And I got this, the pendant, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be wearing it sometimes, but I got my ring too. But yeah.
Can you show us that one more time? Because we ain't had one of those on the show yet.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, yeah. I know, but a lot of the time that year you went down to the D League also.
Yeah, I played a lot in the D League.
Next year you come to Europe. Tell us, what were you thinking at the time? Did you want to come to Europe? Did you know what to expect? What was going through your head?
Dave, not to cut you off, brother. I want to back up just a little bit because you touched on something. A lot of guys are going to be in similar situations as you, James. Get drafted. You're excited about your opportunity. Finally, you in the league, and they send you to the G League. How were you feeling in that moment?
First of all, I want to say that I didn't have the same mentality that I have now. I kind of took being in the league for granted.
Okay.
Because you got to understand, when I came out, even though I was a McDonald's, when I came out for my draft year, I wasn't on the draft board. So I did 35 workouts to get drafted. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy. I was kind of complacent to be where I was at. I was happy to be in the league, but I wasn't like, oh man, I didn't understand the stuff you had to do to stay in the league. So I was just kind of happy to be there at the time. So I wasn't thinking like, man, why I want to, I was happy that I was on a team. So I was like, when they sent me to the D League, I was like, all right, I was kind of like, damn, I want to play. But at the same time, I was like, all right, I'm still on the Spurs. I'm just going down there, do my work. Even when I got down to the D League, I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm on the Spurs. I'm in the D League. I didn't understand it was sending me down there to do work, like to cook. Like, but at the time, that's not what I did. I was an all-around type of dude. I wasn't a dude that go out there and give you 30, 35, stuff like that. I didn't understand that's what they sent me there to do, you know what I'm saying, to kill. And then I can come back up and, play. I was just there playing, you know what I'm saying, not understanding, But Dale Demps used to tell me, like, he used to have meetings with me, like, yo, man, you better than Michael Finley, man. You better. He used to be like, trying to convince, like, you better than these dudes, man. You got to go down there and show them, man. You got to. And then even when the next year when we go to Summer League and I'm still on the Spurs, I'm trying to get back on the team. He telling me in Summer League, man, he telling me you got to average 35. You got to kill. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? All right. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking it for granted. Like, I didn't have the same mentality that I end up having as my career went by, and I understood what it took. So I wish I would have had the same mentality. I'd still probably be there now. You know what I'm saying? So
we all, man. It's just you know, when we're young, man, our mind is not. I always tell myself, if I had the mindset I have now when I was younger, I might have had a shot to go to the league.
Right.
I didn't have the
Right.
work. I didn't have the work ethic I have later in my career than I, you know, my work ethic.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. It's crazy.
They say youth is wasted on the young.
You said what?
They say youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just try to pass on what I know now to my kids. Like, and they do the same thing I used to do, not listen. They'd be like, all right. But I'm like, dude, I'm giving you the blueprint. Like, I was there. I'm giving you exactly what you do. Like, I don't know what else you want. You know what I'm saying? But
but that's what you can do is continue to give them the game, and that's kind of why we got this podcast. Now, Dave, go ahead. You were asking a question.
Okay, yeah. So after that year, you end up coming to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
What were you thinking about Europe? Did you want to come to Europe? What was your thoughts? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Like, did it feel like
So like I gotta explain, like my mentality always was, even though like I said I was McDonald, I was always underdog because I was from, even though I'm from PG County. If you know anything about PG County, I moved to Montgomery County, which is like considered like the rich part of DC. So those people aren't considered like hoopers. They are considered like, they don't really consider them. So I was like the first dude to ever play for like DC Assault, which is a big time. I was the first dude from Montgomery County to play. So I was always like an underdog type of dude, you know what I'm saying? So me to be able to play basketball for a living and make money is like a dream. I don't give a damn where I play. As long as I'm making money playing, that's crazy to me. That's like beautiful. So even when I transferred from Florida, how I even met my agent, Bill McCandless, is I wasn't going to go to college. I was just going to go right to Europe. And I met him, and I was like, man, I'm thinking about just going to Europe. So I wasn't never tripping off going to Europe. I was like, cool, I can go play basketball and make money. I don't care where it is. Right. I went to two boarding schools in high school. I went to Hargrave Military Academy my senior year. So that wasn't a thing to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm an only child. I'm cool with going over, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with being by myself and just playing basketball. That's beautiful. So when I went over there, I was like, I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand Europe. I didn't understand Istanbul or none of that stuff. But I was happy. I was excited. They gonna pay me what to go over there?
Your first job was in Istanbul for Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce.
That was a great first year position to be in.
Dude, you know what's crazy about it? I don't understand. I don't know that though. I don't know that. I'm just thinking I was in the NBA, man. I'm going to here. I'm just thinking it's trash. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why am I over here? I don't understand. Dude, I signed a 5-year deal with Fenerbahce. 5 years.
What?
Listen to this though. This how crazy it is. This how much I don't understand about Europe. I was so thirsty to get out of Europe and be like, thinking I need to get an NBA. I had a clause in my contract. I had a 5-year deal when like it went up like $250 every year. And I had a clause in my contract where it's like, if I sign with a team, I could get out the contract. And I signed with Memphis, I think, or like a bullshit, like, you know what I'm saying, a non-guaranteed thing just to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just to get out of it. Not understanding the Europe. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding that the position I was in at the time. Crazy.
So you're referring to an NBA out clause, is that correct?
Yeah.
So you took a crappy deal in the NBA to leave.
Wasn't even a real deal. 5 years. 5 years with Fenerbahce. And you know what's crazy about the Fenerbahce thing is, I mean, we had a great part. Other than the teams they recently had when they won the Europe Championship, those are the best Fenerbahce teams, I think.
Who's on that team? Wasn't it you, Will Solomon?
Will Solomon, Terrence Kinsey, Omar Onyx,
yeah.
Omar Ashik, who's in the rafters. Yeah. What's the dude with the Serbian dude with the beard, but he could shoot? I forgot his name. Mirsad.
Mirsad Turkcan.
Mirsad Turkcan, all-time leading
rebounder.
Ibrahim
Kuplay on that team too?
Who?
Ibrahim Kuplay, another Turkish player, shooter.
Yeah, but he had to go to the Army. He ended up going to the Army that year.
09. You guys had Omar 09?
Yeah, Omar was out too. Yeah, Semi Erden, Savas, when they was young. We had big. I said Omar. Omar Ashik.
Omar Ashik, yeah.
Usava, Semi Erden. Who else we had? We even had big Cantor played with us. He was playing with the young team. Cantor was practicing with us.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, Ennis Cantor used to come up and play with y'all.
Man, we made it to the we lost to Siena in the top 8 of EuroLeague. We lost to Siena, but we won the championship that year. So we had a great team.
How did you like? So, how was your experience in Istanbul that first year? Did you like it, or you just?
Man, I loved it, but you got to understand. I didn't understand. If I would have known what I know now about Europe,
yeah,
I've been wilding because I don't know nothing about. I'm just going off like I'm following Will around. I don't know nothing about Europe. Will been here he been overseas. He been in Turkey for whatever. I'm just following what he doing. Basically, I'm like where we going? Oh, we going to this club. We doing this, and we was on the Asian side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We was on the Asian side, so. But I would drive all the, it's not like, because I went back there a couple years ago and it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's skyscrapers and malls and stuff over there. Yeah. It wasn't like that. But I didn't understand, man. I didn't know how to get around. I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't know how to do none of that stuff. But I still had a good time, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't understand. Like, if I would have known what I know now, I probably would have been wilding out there.
So here's the thing. It's good to hear you say that, man, because so many guys just have no idea what they're getting themselves into, and they get over there and they don't kick it with their teammates. They don't learn the language. They only want to go eat at McDonald's. They don't want to
embrace the culture.
Yeah, they don't embrace the culture. So can you talk a little bit about how, because it sounds like that's what you're saying now you would do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, because when you're over there, you just know what you know. It's your first time going over this. You just know what you know, and you're going to do what's comfortable for you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to really get out of your box. But always tell young guys, go somewhere where you're comfortable. Like, being comfortable overseas is like one of the most important things. The more comfortable you are, the better you're going to play. Because when you're comfortable, everything's on the outside, like, your whole life is good, you're going to play better. So you have to find the things where you're at that's going to make you comfortable. Make sure you're in the right apartment. Make sure you eating the proper stuff and you go in a place, you know all the restaurants there. Go explore places where you know you can go chill and have a good time, maybe get a drink or smoke some hookah in a nice little lounge and chill. Talk to your teammates, find out where all the good stuff is. Where you can get a haircut, stuff like that. You gotta ask questions and find out what it is to make you comfortable. Because the more comfortable you are, the better you're gonna play, and the better you play, the more money you're gonna get, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
But a lot of players, a lot of times people don't get that comfort. What I mean is, soon as somebody, you know how it is, man. Whoever's throwing out the most money, that's where you're gonna end up going. So that money, sometimes you might end up in the middle of nowhere.
I've told people this millions of times. I've never played. First of all, I've never played nowhere where I didn't get my money, and I always go somewhere where I do the research. That's one of the biggest things you got to do when you sign somewhere. You got to do research because all these dudes, even when I'm here, I'm at this thing playing in this thing. A lot of these dudes play in Europe, and a lot of them talking about, man, they owe me in Greece, they owe me three months still. I'm like, dude, like, you didn't know that they didn't pay people before you went there? You knew that they don't pay people in Greece. You still went there. Like, I'm not going there if I ain't paying you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going there if the living conditions is bad. I mean, sometimes you got to, because those are the options you got. But you just got to make the most of it, man. Like, if that's the case, if you go somewhere and it ain't what it is, you just got to make the most of it and hope you play yourself out of that position. Because I've played with guys like a guy like Ricky Hickman, who played in all these terrible countries. Like, he played in these, like, not terrible countries, played in these terrible positions, like Romania, second league, Germany. I know the conditions ain't good, but he played his way out of there to make it to a Maccabi, to make it to a Fenerbahce. And I tell dudes, it don't matter where you start at, because if you do the work, they'll find you.
Right. Yep. So, over the years you played in Europe, You've been to Russia, Turkey. Most of your time you spent in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
In any of those places, were there any culture shocks were you went anywhere where it was like, man, they do that over here? Like any surprises?
Man, I'm gonna tell you a place where I didn't think was gonna be like super nice, and I was the most comfortable, and I loved it, was Croatia.
Yes.
I tell people that all the time, man. Croatia's a beautiful country.
Yes, man.
Zagreb. I was playing in Zagreb, man. I was the best playing for Seda Vida, man. I was the best, the most comfortable I ever been. Like my apartment was dope. They had I had a brand new whip. Like their practice facility. We had airplane hangars, brand new practice facility. Everything was great, man. Like and the country is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Everything in Zagreb. Man, food good, everything.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. I played in Šibenik. Like
That
was like one of my first European stops, actually.
Man,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And then like the opposite of that is Russia. Like I hated Russia, man. I didn't play in Moscow. I played in St. Peter. Everybody say I played in St. Petersburg. It's my second job overseas. Everybody like, man, St. Petersburg is beautiful. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. People don't understand, like, you live over there. Like, it's cool to visit some of these places, but when you live somewhere, it's different. Like, so I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cool to visit for a weekend, but you living in St. Petersburg where it's snow every day. Every day is gloomy. Everybody look like they depressed every day when you wake up. Everything is like, nobody speak English because they don't want to learn the language over there. Like, it's different. It's not what you think it is. Then I played in Kazan, which is worse than that. So it's like those two places was like, for me, I didn't. Those are the places I didn't like the most. And I played in Iran, so that should tell you how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I already know, man. Every time I've been up to Russia to play like a Euro game, or anything. Freezing cold.
Yeah.
And the travel crazy.
The travel is crazy. We were stuck in the airport for like 10 hours before.
Every time.
But you say you love Croatia, man. So that means you played in the Adriatic League as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You played in a lot of different competitions, be it Euro League, you just said the Adriatic League. Tell me, I actually played myself in the Adriatic League for 2 years. So tell me a little bit about what you recall or remember from the Adriatic League stylistically.
Everybody there that's physical. They're not as athletic and stuff as everybody else, but they know how to play. They're physical, and everything gonna be tough. Even the sorriest teams are gonna give you a game because they always play hard. They play the hardest. To me, they play probably the hardest. That area plays the hardest probably out of all the other countries. They play the hardest.
They do.
And I think that's the thing that separates them. That's why they always can compete. And you see a lot of guys come from out of there and go to these different countries because they compete all the time and they go hard. They're strong. They play hard. And they just go hard all the time.
And the way they
might not be the most gifted.
They shoot the piss out the ball.
And they shoot the ball. Like that's a lot of their skills. They shoot the ball and they play hard. They play defense. They're gonna be physical. Even if they don't have the physical advantages, they're gonna even it up with how hard they play.
I'm gonna tell you one Croatian story I had. We had a game on the road against Zadar. I know you know Zadar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fans over there, maniacs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a teammate, my point guard, David Bailey, was on my team. Young dude out of Chicago. David taking the ball out. Next thing you know, David just feels something flying wet on the back of his head. Somebody just hopped up and spit a loogie on like a big tool. So, he don't know what hit him. So, his first instinct, like, man, he looked at, somebody spit. So he turned around trying to get in the crowd after him, right? Everybody holding him back. No, Dave, you can't go over there. You can't go over there, man. Chill out. He was like, man, what am I supposed to do? I'm a man first. Forget this, man.
Right.
Oh, this nigga just spit on me. That's some disrespectful stuff. long story short, he got kicked out. Actually, he got kicked out the game because he couldn't cross that barrier.
Right.
So I know over there, man, they love basketball. The fans are crazy. Everything is just wow. Your time in Europe, do you have any crazy stories?
Too many.
Too many, I know.
Too many, man. Playing in Turkey, man. I remember I got a couple. I mean, we played Galatasaray, which is got the crazy fans too. We playing Galatasaray, but we not playing. At the time, they didn't have a gym, so we was playing in like a smaller gym, and their fans is in there going crazy. We about to start the game. All I see is a water bottle fly across the court, lands right on our coach, explodes, filled with piss, bro. Filled with piss, bro. I'm like, no, what the hell? What's going on around here, man? I done seen.
Oh no,
yeah, bro.
Hell no.
Yeah, crazy. I was like, what is going on? I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, I knew Europe was different. This one I knew Europe was different. And I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know Will Solomon. How well y'all know Will Solomon?
Believe me, hey, I played in Turkey for 8 years. I know Will. Like, I really know. I've kicked it with Will.
Let me tell you this story and how I knew stuff was different. All right, I come to Fenerbahce late. Like, I missed the preseason, so I get to Fenerbahce. We're about to play in the President's Cups, which is like the first game. It's like the championship team from the year before.
The cup winner and the champion.
So I come to practice. My first practice in our big gyms. First practice. So we stretching and everything. He the only other American on the team. So I'm talking to him. We stretching. I'm like, he's not really talking that much. But I'm like, yo, what's good? He's like, yeah. Da, da. He seemed like he mad. I'm like, what's wrong with this nigga, man? So we come in. We doing a little warm-ups. You know how you got the coach right there, and it's like the guards. You do your little move and go. So I go, you know what I'm saying? Next dude go. Every time Will get the ball, he punts the ball into the stands. He get it. Boom. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Get it again. Boom. I'm like, what? The coach, Tomovic. I don't know if you remember Tomovic.
I know him. Yeah,
craziest Serbian coach there is.
Over here too.
He yelling. Yelling at Will, but he keep doing it. We get to practice him. Will, don't pass to nobody. Just going down, shooting from like half, doing crazy stuff. Like, what is this? Come to find out, like the game, they had a preseason game, and you know Hakan? Yeah, I think he's a coach now.
Yeah.
He was our backup point guard. They had played him more minutes than Will, and Will was mad. So he was wilding. Like I never seen him. Like he pulling up from half court, like all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, damn, why they letting them do this? We get to the President Cup game. This man go for 40 and the game winning shot. I was like, oh, okay. I get it. I see what's going on now. Okay. You just do what the hell you want when you the guy. Okay, I get it now.
They was calling this man King Solomon over here.
Solomon, we love you, Solomon. Hey, and look, he the most clutch dude, probably the best point guard I played with over there. That dude, he'll pull up, he'll get a 1-on-0 break. We down 2, he pull up for 3 in the clutch. Wow. Be like, man, he was like that for real.
Average. Is he still playing?
Well, he was actually supposed to play in this thing I'm in now. This little
Vegas, you in Vegas?
Yeah, playing the 3-on-3 thing. But he I don't know what happened. He was on the team, he was playing with Toronto.
Down there, and I think Trey Simmons was supposed to go, but he ended up not coming.
They was trying to get Trey to replace somebody. Somebody got hurt, and he was one of the names they was trying to get with Nate down here. So yeah.
Me and Will was actually in the gym working Trey out so he could get ready for it.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it's still time. It's still like 3 games left, so maybe he's still coming.
Okay.
All right, so James, man, since you've been coming over here, what would you say your favorite country is and why?
Oh, it's probably Italy.
Italy.
Probably Italy. And it's because, I mean, I like the people. I like the style of basketball. I mean, that's kind of like made a home there, you know. I played there the most years, so I'm probably the most comfortable there. But I mean, Croatia probably is a close second. You know, I only played there 1 year, but I played in Italy like 6 or 7 years. So probably Italy, then I have to say Croatia. I never played in Spain or Greece, so those like the two only countries I never really played in.
Okay. Right. Hey, we got one question we love to ask on the pod, man. We ask everybody who's ever on here this question. And sometimes we get folks to keep it real with us. And sometimes we get them dudes with the ego who's scared to say, you know what, it happened to me. And here's who did it. So I'm going to ask you, who's the one dude or two or however many you want to name that just cooked you? You couldn't do nothing about it that night. He just gave you the work.
Man, that's a good question, man. You know, I never had nobody like outright cook me, but it's a lot. It's some dudes that were like, cause I used to like go into games. I used like I ain't worried about this matchup, but it's some guys that I had trouble guarding because they were good. What's cuz name, bro? Dang. One is Devin Smith. He was always a problem because he was so crafty. He could play.
He played about you and Maccabi, right?
Yeah, he was at Benetton when I played against him. Damn, bro, I'm tripping. What's Sammy?
Bahia.
No, not Sammy. He played in the league. Played for Cheska. He playing China now. I don't know how I'm forgetting his name. Played at Cheska a bunch of years. Like, not damn. It's really bothering me that I don't know his name. But it's a bunch of guys that are just like playing against Omar Thomas, him defensively.
Yeah.
Like having to go against him because he played so hard and he's not gonna let you get anything off. You know what I'm saying? I like Raheem Sanders. I like playing against Raheem Sanders. He was a good matchup because usually when I play in the three, either you're gonna be too small or they put a guy out there that's a little too slow. But he was big and he could move. David Moss was always a good matchup.
Yeah.
Because he was rugged, tough dude. Dave Hawkins.
Yeah.
Dave Hawkins playing against Dave, which is one of my best friends, but he was always a problem.
The reason we ask this question because a lot of players come over here and think their time gonna be sweet over here in Europe. Like, you know, I'm playing against Europeans, the Americans. If they over here, that means they're not that good. I'm playing against Europeans. The European guys are not that good. But it don't matter who you are, European or American. Somebody gonna bust your ass because you guys can play.
Charles Smith, my first year overseas. Charles Smith, he was crazy with it. Playing against him, coming off screens. I ain't know who the hell is this dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lewis Bullock. I knew Lewis Bullock
bucket
already because he's from around the way, but watching him go out there and play and do his thing, like, damn, who? You know what I'm saying? You don't know some of these dudes. Some of these dudes, you don't know them, but they nice like that. You know what I'm saying? You sleeping, you thinking especially if you coming from the league, you thinking like, oh, this about to be a sweet matchup. Who the hell is this dude? He don't know he looking at you like you fool because you got a name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he gonna go right at your neck, like, you know what I'm saying? And he like, oh yeah, he gonna go home and be like, guess what? I just bust James White ass over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's how my mentality was. I always be like, man, I can't let nobody go tell people they bust my ass. So I can't. You know what I'm saying? A dude could go out there and score like 12 and be like, I bust his ass. That happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't even be 20. They be like, I bust his ass because they had a couple, buckets on you. So you got to be on your P's and Q's at all times.
I'm gonna tell you. So I came from a small school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So dudes like me love to see dudes like y'all,
right?
Dudes that came from big school. Oh, that's your, you don't know me. That's your ass, boy. That's your ass. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
but it's like it's a lot of dudes. You know, it's crazy. It's a lot of dudes get like fall by the wayside because of school they went to, and they're not seeing. You look at a dude like Mike
James.
Yeah, Mike James.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that dude crazy with it.
Yeah.
But he went to a small school, nobody know who he is. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of dudes with game out there that, for whatever reason, went to a smaller school that got game and get over there, and it's a problem. So some of the best players in Europe history come from small schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kyle Hines. He considered one of the best European players ever. Definitely one of the most winningest players. He went to a small school. So, I mean.
Hey, speaking to Kyle Hines, his name keeps coming up on the podcast. We got to get him
up on the podcast. We need to get him somehow.
Yeah. I holler at him. I holler at him for sure, man. He's an ambassador, man. He's doing a lot of good things too, like with the Players Association thing and all this kind of stuff. And he's been at it for years, man. Like I said, he's been everywhere and been winning for so long. Like
going everywhere, man. Like he's not a guy where he's going to see he put up big numbers, but he does whatever it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what separates him and what's made him so great and makes him better than all the big men? He can switch on every guard. Like his pick and roll defense is the difference. He can guard everybody on the court. Like when they run pick and rolls and he switch, it ain't no sweet switch. You in trouble. Like he gonna steal the ball. He gonna block your shot. You gonna have to pass the ball and try to throw the ball inside because it ain't sweet. Like it's in his benefit because he that good a defender, man.
I was talking to somebody, a big man. I don't want to, put him out there like that. In his mind, he was like, man, I was playing against Kyle Hines. I'm thinking I was going to go out there because, he's much shorter than me. Kyle Hines is like 6'6".
6'6", yeah.
Something like that. Playing, he's guarding me. I'm at the 5, so I'm thinking this all day about to be a bucket. Like, nah, man, that dude kept pushing me off the block. I couldn't even get position.
Strong as hell, low center of gravity, just know how to play like a Chuck Hayes type of situation. Like, I played with Chuck Hayes. Chuck Hayes, it don't matter how big you are, Yao Ming, whatever. You're not going to move him off the block. The best thing you can do is just turn around and shoot because you ain't moving him. You right here.
You ain't moving him.
He played how many years? Never scored. He didn't get no buckets. He never got no buckets. Chuck ain't never get no buckets or nothing. He did his job. He did his job. Even in college, he did his job. And he was just be great at your job. You always gonna have a job. That's why I tell my son, like, you can be, if you're the best shooter, you always have a job. If you can shoot the ball, you'll always have a job. I don't care how tall you are. If you can shoot the ball, you always have a job. So you just focus on being the best shooter you can be first, and then work on the other stuff. If you don't grow no more, you can still shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? So you do what you do better than everybody else, you'll always have a job.
Well, what you just said, that's what a lot of players don't understand when coming to Europe, because everybody got the misconception that they're coming over here just to get buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And the European game is nothing like that.
At all.
Like what you said, if you do what you're best at, with your job here, like these coaches over here bring you here because they know what you can do. Like I knew I was a defender, a shot blocker. I knew that's what my job was. Yeah, I could score, but I ain't finna give you 20 every night.
Right.
I'm here to play defense.
Right.
So that's why I kept a job. A lot of guys come over here knowing they're not supposed to get buckets, but they come over here like, oh, if I get buckets, I'm gonna stay, and they don't last long.
See, the goal is to reach the highest level because the highest level got the most money.
Yeah.
And when you get to the highest level, it ain't about getting buckets. Because if you look at the team, the dude who averaged the most points probably averaged 15 points a game.
Right.
13 points a game.
Right.
So it ain't about getting buckets. It's about how can you fit in the team? What can you bring to a team to help us win?
Yeah.
It's like that every even in the NBA. It's a little different because they have their guys. They're going to have 2 or 3 guys that's what they do. But everybody else, they got a job to do. They do a certain thing, and that's how you stay in the league or stay relevant. You have to bring a certain aspect to the team that nobody else can bring. And if you don't do that, if you're just a guy who there's a lot of dudes in Europe that just get buckets, and that's it. And they stay in the same level. There's a lot of dudes that can get buckets that play in, Saudi Arabia or China or different places. Don't play in Europe because that's not what people necessarily want. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
You got to understand that. There's a market for everybody.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
I want to dive into something a little different. We've been talking about this kind of stuff with guys. And I wanted to ask you, what are you doing outside of basketball to kind of either further your brand or just business-wise, or is there anything that you're doing that you want people to know about?
Well, I've been first thing I want to coach. So I've always wanted to coach. So the last about 6 years, I've been doing all these different programs, the NBA and different things. Just every summer, just trying to broaden my coaching thing and just try to get more experience and build my resume for that when I do finish playing, if I play one more year. Me, Tyrese Rice, Keith Langford, and Marquise Hayes, we're trying to come together and build a gym down in Houston. Like a big gym, like a real big gym. We trying to get that together now.
You know,
I also have.
So where you trying to build that at? I'm from Houston.
In Houston, Texas.
Yeah, but what area?
We was actually on like I-10, like going towards the airport, which is kind of further out. We had a warehouse we was trying to get. That deal fell through, so now we just trying to get some land, and I'm trying to get it in the Pearland area. That's where I'm trying to. Yeah, because there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of people, a lot of prominent people live in that area, and that's a rich area. So I'm trying to look for some land out there. So that's a project I'm still trying to get through. And then me and my dad have this thing called Sweat Protect, which is big right now. It's like big for right now because with all this corona stuff going on. It's basically a towel that protects you when you go to the gym. You put it on the machines and stuff, basically protects you from germs and keeps your sweat and stuff off the machines and stuff. So we got that going on right now, and that's about to come out soon. So that's what I'm doing.
That's what's up.
And still playing, trying to play still a little bit.
Right.
Right.
How many more years do you think you got in you?
I mean, I could play 5. I feel like I could play 5 more years, honestly. I mean, I'm in shape. I feel good. Still moving, still jumping.
Yeah, the knees are straight.
Man, they're still good, man. I'm still doing a little something, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll be 38 this year, but you know how they work. You know how it works overseas.
Yeah.
The older you get, the harder it is to get a job. Sometimes it ain't about you retiring. They retire you when them phone calls are happening. It's just a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to play one more year where I go out on my own terms. So I pretty much just want to play this year, and then I want to be done. But it's tough with all the stuff going on. But
if you had
one more year,
what would that be?
Huh?
If you had your pick, where would that be? Which country?
So I've always wanted to play in Japan. That's one place I wanted to play. But if I can't play in Japan, if it was in Europe, I would go to Italy and play for one of the teams that I did something like Pesaro or Reggio Emilia, where I had like classic seasons for. I just want to finish there, you know what I'm saying, and finish at one of them teams.
I get Japan. Japan's crazy in terms of the fans. Like, their fandom is off the charts.
I don't even know nothing about that. I just always wanted, like, 2 places I'd always wanted to go in life was Egypt. I've been everywhere. I wanted to go to Egypt and I want to go to Japan. And then they have a whole league out there, and it's not bad. So, and they paying. So it's like, oh, shit, I'll go to Japan. So I've been trying to get there like the last 2 years. They take a lot of big dudes. So it's hard.
It's only a 6-month bid in Japan, too.
Yeah. I'm with that. 6 months, beautiful.
Oh, man. You know, James, man, we really appreciate you being on here with us, man. Where can people reach you at? Like on your IG, Twitter, how can people get in contact with you?
Man, reach out to me at Flight 8, FLIGHT 8. And that's on Twitter and Instagram. You know, especially on Twitter, I respond to everybody, man. I enjoy Twitter and interacting with the fans and different stuff like that. I'm putting up more content on IG, especially with stuff not, moving. You know, everything we bored. So I'm about to put up more and more content with my kids and stuff, and do little videos and stuff like that. So follow me on there.
Last question for the young guys that's coming over to Europe. Don't know what to expect. what would you tell them? From a
It's
vet,
a job.
From a vet to a young player, what would
Remember that it's a job. You know what I'm saying? Remember it's business and remember it's a job. So the first thing you got to understand is if you're not handling your business and you're not doing your job correctly, everything else is going to be messed up. So first thing you need to do is do your job. Like you have so much time, especially being a professional for the first time, you don't realize how much downtime you won't really have. It's just basketball. That's all you have to do. So invest in your time doing your job. That means extra shots. That means weight room, doing all the extra stuff. And you'll see that they'll pay out in the long run, that if you do the work, the results will come. So all I can tell you is do your job and treat everything like a business, because at the end of the day, you're your own brand, and it's going to help you to treat yourself like a business, because the next year you're going to be trying to get another job, and everything that you did the year before is going to come up to the next team. So if you're an asshole, if you don't work hard, if you're not a good teammate, all that stuff comes up, man. When you trying to get to the next team, they talk to your coach, they talk to your teammates. It's like everything. Just like when you was getting recruited to go to these schools, these colleges, they do the same thing when you're trying to make money now. And all that shit reflects on if you're gonna make $60,000 a year or 120, and that's a big difference at the end of the day. And save your money. That's another thing. That's another big thing. Like you over there basically living for free almost.
Yeah.
If you're a young guy, you coming into playing overseas, most likely you ain't got no bills. You ain't got no house. You ain't got no mortgage. You ain't got child support and all that type of stuff. You ain't got that stuff. So even if you making 60 in a year, which a lot of y'all gonna make coming out your first year, you should be able to come back with at least 40 in the bank, in your bank account. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for somebody who ain't got no bills. But if you save at least half your paycheck that you make every year, by the end of your 10-year career, you should have enough money where you good when you done. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. You want to be able to be comfortable, live comfortable, and be comfortable when you all said and done.
Man, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I'm not gonna lie. I remember my first, maybe my second or third year in Europe. I didn't have no responsibility, no house note, no bills, no nothing, making money. But you know what I was doing the whole time in Europe?
Spending it. Going out, catching flights here and there, like really doing ridiculous stuff. I could have did the same thing without spending that money and still had the same good time, but you know. My dad told me the realest thing.
I see the guys in EuroLeague spending, so I'm like, shit.
It ain't the same. My dad told me the realest thing, man, is true. Like, if you can't actually physically see what you bought, then I don't think it ain't really worth it. At the end of the day, like if you buying bottles and flying this place and doing all this stuff, and at the end of it, you're gonna be like, damn, I don't have nothing to really show for it.
Right.
It wasn't really worth buying. Like everything you buy, you should be able to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's okay to, party sometimes, do your thing sometimes, but you gotta be smart about it. You can't be just blowing through money, because it ain't always gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it at an early age where I wasn't making that much money. Let's just put it like that.
Right.
Slow down after that.
Right.
Hey, man, like I said, thanks again. Man, whenever you go to Houston, man, holler at me, man. Like I said, that's my hometown. I'm born and raised there. So, man, holler at me if I'm there. Or if you need anything, let me know. My people's out there. Man,
for sure.
Holler at me. Again, thank you for, giving us your time, for being on the podcast, man. We really appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. I definitely hit you up, man. Both of y'all. Thank y'all.
No doubt.
Thanks for tuning in to EuroSteppin Podcast. Follow us on everything: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. EuroSteppin Podcast. No G.
We got all the game.
Thought it was a joke. What they still playing games for? Holes in my denim, never holes in my game, no. You won't be just like me, they don't love you the same, no. The series 3-0, and I'm back home for game 4.